What's going on, everybody? Halo Drama here, and I'm joined with Waverly Frontman.
Yo.
As is tradition, we are back with an episode of Random Clicks. I'm aware that there has been a huge hiatus because, life happens. I moved, so I had to move everything, get everything set back up, and, blase, 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 but hopefully I have everything set up now, so hopefully we can start bringing you guys more content and all that good stuff. I have a bunch of different things set up that I want to try and get done, but obviously that's going to take time, new setup, new place, all that good stuff. But we are back with an episode of Random Clicks. I do believe this is episode 7. I should have checked because I lost count, but I do believe I'm right. I hope I'm right, or I'm going to cut this part out of it in the editing process. But
pretty sure you got it right.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys have watched our old episodes, so you get a general idea of what we do. We are on EDHREC, and there's a random button that we hit, and it will bring up a random legendary creature, and we analyze it for it being a potential commander prospect in our opinion. Remember, keywords, this is our opinion. If you have a different opinion on how you would set up a deck or use a legendary creature as a commander prospect, that's completely fine. Just don't be a dick about it, because it's really not that serious. I've only had to tell like 2 people that, but that doesn't make it any less annoying. But anyway,
you are what you eat.
I'm sorry?
I said, you are what you eat. So.
Bitch, shut the fuck up. Anyway, you ready to get this on? No homo?
Yeah, no. Yes.
And click. And what do we have here? I've seen this dude before. Let's see. We have Thrasios, Triton Hero, cost Simic. That's green and blue. It is a 1/3 Merfolk Wizard. I know I used to say it's a legendary creature, but this is EDHREC we're talking about. I can leave that part out. Has an activated ability. You can pay 4 and scry 1, then reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, draw a card. Has the partner ability, but we're going to extend that at the moment just to try to focus on this as a standalone commander. At first I was going to say I don't like that ability costs 4, but it's obviously this is going to be one of those kind of Simic decks, like my AC deck, that is based on, getting lands out there, obviously, so...
Right.
So I would assume that the deck is mana heavy, which there's nothing wrong with that. If I personally was going to use this as a commander myself, I'd be looking for landfall triggers.
Right.
Because obviously there's green in it. So, to me, personal opinion only, Waverly may agree with this, he may not, but personal opinion only, if the color green is in any bit of your commander identity, you better have some mana ramp in that deck. That to me is just part of that's what green does. We all know that. So that's how I would do it. That's me personally. And it says otherwise draw a card. So you may be paying 4 just to draw a card, which that part I kind of don't like. Paying 4 just to draw a card is kind of, but you do get to scry.
Yeah.
You do get to scry. So you can mess around and like that top card and then be able to put it in your hand. Or you can scry it down to the bottom, then reveal it, and if it's a land, either way, you're getting a little bit of card advantage.
Right, getting rid of stuff you don't want, and possibly getting more land advantage or another card to your hand. So
yeah, true that. It does suck that it comes out tapped, but it is what it is. Like I said, if to me, I would use this for like landfall trigger type stuff. And if you had anything with landfall on the board, you're still getting a trigger. Mm-hmm. So there is that, or you're drawing a card. Like I said, I'm kind of on the fact that it costs 4, but like I said, the deck's half green, so paying 4 mana for this ability shouldn't really be that big of a problem. Any takes on it from your perspective there, Waverly?
Well, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm pretty sure there are some things that could make that cost less too, if I'm not mistaken. Activated abilities.
Activated. You know what? There is a blue card that does that. I
Yeah.
cannot think of the name of it. It is the only one I can think of off the top of my head. I remember
Yeah,
it's a blue enchantment.
yeah, and I probably wouldn't even recognize the name if I heard it, but I just know it exists.
That I want to say makes activated abilities cost 2 less, maybe?
Yeah, something like that, which would make this a lot more plausible in my mind.
Very much so. And I wish I could remember the name of the card because I would pull it up on the screen so we can all look at it. If anybody's watching this and you know the card that I'm talking about, that we're talking about, please comment it below. That way, you know, we all have a better idea of, you know, what we're talking about. And like I said, we both know the card exists. I just can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. I don't even remember the mana drop on it. I just remember that it's a blue enchantment that makes activated abilities cost at least 2 less.
But I'm pretty sure you've covered everything else. It's a pretty cut and dry kind of card. It goes with the green, it goes with the blue. It's a Simic card.
It's a Simic card, and I've noticed a lot of the Simic commanders that I personally like have stuff to do with lands entering the battlefield.
Right. And pretty sure I had one of these back in the day. I think this came in that EDHREC Claw of Progress Precon deck.
I do remember that. Because I personally have a deck with AC here, and I really like this deck. AC, Tyrant of the Gyre Strait, costs 4 in Simic. Is a 5/5 Serpent. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, it may as well have just said landfall. You may draw a card. Excuse me. Because it is a May. Well, are landfalls Mays? I think landfalls happen, period. So maybe that's why it's not worded that way. I could be right, I could be wrong. Please let me know. But yeah, I have a deck with this, and if I owned this card, this Thrasios, it would definitely be in the 99 of that deck. Because my AC deck is meant, it gets a ton of lands out there super fast.
Yeah.
Like, I've cast AC as quick as the 3rd or 4th turn before.
Yeah, I've seen that happen.
Yeah, it gets out there real fast, and then I start pumping lands out, and it just goes fucking insane because I keep my hand full. So needless to say, I have a lot of things. Give me no maximum hand size. Almost anything you can think of with a landfall trigger that's green is in this deck.
AC's another one of those ones that's pretty cut and dry as far as it's got the green, it's got the blue, it does both.
Right, yeah, exactly. Like I said, if you guys know the enchantment that we're talking about, please comment it below. That'd be great, so we can all have a better understanding. But yeah, like you said, this is pretty cut and dry. And the more that I've talked about it, the more I've waned away from giving a damn about that 4. The fact that that ability costs 4. Because the more that I think about it, that's going to be irrelevant as hell, real fast.
Yeah, that's even like, well, I wouldn't say turn 2, but you could have up to 4 mana on turn 2 with a Soul Ring or some shit.
Yeah, we all know that one. Yeah. But, alright, to me, pretty cut and dry. I think we've covered this very well. And not to mention, you guys, yeah, obviously it's been a while since we've recorded. We've got to get back into the swing of things and whatnot. But I'm fine with going on rating this card unless you have anything else to add.
Oh, that's good with me.
And not to mention, it's a cheap commander. Cheap commanders are always awesome.
Yeah.
So
cheap is good.
I personally give this about a 7. Only because I could see me using it as a commander, and I can also see it in the 99 of my AC deck. If I owned one, it would be. Period.
I can dig it.
So yeah, for me, about a 7, because I can see it either or, but I still feel like it's above average.
Yeah, I can dig that. I would actually give it the exact same, a 7. More because of the partner angle as well, though.
Yeah, that's true, and there's a lot of different partners out there, so you can go a lot of different ways with that. Yeah, that's very true.
That blows open the window to add more colors, and that's another Pandora's box.
Yeah, definitely. All right, on to the next. Shall we? Click. Oh shit, a lot of words. Oh, I'm pretty sure I've seen this before too, because another legendary creature that has that escape ability that people talking about, and I want to say that one's Simic. I could be right, I could be wrong, but anyway, Croxa, let's go with that. Titan of Death's Hunger, costs Rakdos, that is black and red for anybody who doesn't know, is a 6/6 Elder Giant. When Croxa enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. Okay, that's interesting. When Croxa enters the battlefield or attacks, each opponent discards a card. Then each opponent who didn't discard a non-land card this way loses 3 life. Has an escape cost of 2 black and 2 red. Exile 5 other cards from your graveyard. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its escape card. Okay, so damn. Okay, so this is, and there are some commanders like this, because I can do this with Marin. I can do it with multiple. I can do it with my Will Health, my zombie deck. That you want this. You want this in the graveyard. You have to have it in your. It's the only way you can get it on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Because when it enters the battlefield, I don't even know if you can. Could you possibly respond with what's the card that just ends the turn? And all the abilities on the stack just disappear. Sundial of the Infinite. Do you think that would work with this? Or it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it. So is it even resolved when it enters the battlefield? Can you interrupt that?
I think you could interrupt the cast. I don't know about the ETB.
The ETB? Right.
Yeah.
Okay, just an idea. Everybody, just an idea. So obviously you want this in you're going to cast it for the Rakdos. You want this in your graveyard. And you have to pay the 2 black, 2 red, and exile 5 other cards. So you're kind of in black does mill some, red that has nothing to do with red. But to me, you're kind of in you're either in a self-sacrifice, your permanent type thing, or you're in a self-discard.
Yeah.
Kind of theme.
Well, you're talking about the black having discard, but red also has a lot of discard in the looting mechanics, so you're also getting card advantage on top of it.
That is a very good point, and you know what? I will even bring up one of the most famous looting cards, and that is Faithless Looting.
Yeah.
Banned in a couple formats, but not Commander, we don't give a shit if it was. Faithless Looting costs 1 red. Waverly's got a very good point. Draw 2 cards, sorcery. Draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. And it has a flashback cost. So you can get up to 4 cards in your graveyard with this card alone. So yeah, that's a good point. And there's a lot of, he's got a point. There are a lot of red cards that let you do this. You either draw a card, discard a card, draw 2, discard 1. I think this might be the only draw 2, discard 2. I could be wrong. If I stand corrected, please comment and correct me. I am a grown man. I can take being corrected without getting butt hurt. It's really not that serious. But then shut up. But then then I also think of cards like this, and you know this is one of my personal favorite cards. Almost any black deck I've ever had has had this card in it.
Yep.
And that's Zombie Infestation. One of the black enchantment. Discard 2 cards. Create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Let me tell you, I'm not going to go into the whole story, but this card helped me beat Waverly Frontman in 3 turns one day.
Yep.
Wrap your heads around that. And if you want to know the story, Comment below that you want to know the story, and I will tell you. Or, and a couple people have done this, you can check my link. I have links on my YouTube page that will take you to my Instagram, that will take you to my Facebook, and I've had people message me from YouTube on Facebook about stuff. So if you choose to do that, that's completely fine. That doesn't bother me at all. And I will explain to you how this card helped me beat Waverly Frontman in 3 turns. And it was amazing. And you know, when you do stuff like that, it never happened again, but the day that it happened, it was fucking amazing.
What about that day that I boomeranged your logo?
Why are you talking about bullshit? Okay, anyway, let's keep on. Let's keep on topic. And to be honest with you, if you guys every time I tell someone that story, I always tell the same story about the time Waverly Frontman fucked me out of all of my mana, fucked me out of all of my lands. It was pretty devastating, and he proceeded to beat the living hell out of me. But another story for another time. If anybody wants to know, they'll ask. So in a sense, in a way, if you look at it, it kind of breaks even, because it's technically, don't get me wrong, you're paying the mana at different times, but it's technically a 6/6 for 6, because you have to pay the Rakdos to get it in your graveyard. Then you have to pay basically double Rakdos and exile 5 other cards. So you're paying 6 and exiling 5 other cards from your graveyard.
I wouldn't look at it that way. I would think of it as you're probably going to pay the Rakdos preemptively. Like, turn 2, you cast this, it goes to your graveyard. Alright, it's in your graveyard. Then
you just have to hope nobody but you bogs you.
Right, you gotta hope nobody's running a Rest in Peace or fucking Bazooka Bog or some shit.
Right.
And I feel like that would probably destroy this entire deck's mechanics to begin with.
Yeah, that'd be pretty ugly.
Because I would think you're probably running maybe some Madness stuff in here as well.
Oh,
maybe
yeah, nice.
A bit of Flashback. Stuff that you can discard and then use from the graveyard.
Also, you can even use this in conjunction with, let's say, we know there's 3 cards that do this, but let's just, for right now, let's just use Grave Pact as an example. Grave Pact is an enchantment that costs 1 and 3 black. Whenever a creature you control dies, each other player sacrifices a creature. You can in conjunction use your commander with any kind of dies trigger, because when he enters the battlefield, you have to sacrifice him immediately.
Yep.
So any kind of dies triggers also works with this.
See, and I would do some stupid shit like have Grave Pact on the board, cast my commander, and let him go back to the command zone and just keep paying 2 for my commander and keep sacrificing him.
If you let him go back to the command zone, he's not going to just cost 2 anymore.
Well, true. I would do it a couple times, clear the board or something, and then let him go to the graveyard.
Right, 2, then the 4, then then you're gonna have to let him go to the graveyard. Yeah, this is one of the few. Like, hopefully nobody, while he's there, hopefully nobody exiles your graveyard. And if you were to get him on the board, hopefully nobody exiles him. Oh, I'm sorry, or her. You can't be too careful nowadays. But if that's a her, that's a who of a her. But she's got some strong legs. But anyway,
I mean,
right, and shackled too. The chick's a freak. But anyway, looks like she's got a mouth on her knee.
What, you don't have one of those?
Holy shit, that threw me off. And not to mention, you can also run this with cards that do things when your opponents discard cards.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of one. I know cards like this exist. I'm just trying to think of one. You know what? I think I may have just thought of one. Is it McGrim? Am I wrong? Yep, that's something. That is something. McGrim, 2 and a black enchantment. Whenever an opponent discards a card, McGrim deals 2 damage to that player. Don't get me wrong, 2 damage isn't much in Commander, but you can still only take so many 2s. Period. And this is the kind of Commander, you might even be purposely running things that make people discard cards. The less creatures they have on the board, the less cards they have in their hand, means the less that they can affect you. Oh, and not to mention, if you're making them discard cards and they discard a non-land card, they're going to lose 3 more life.
Yeah.
And like I said, I know there are multiple cards that do stuff like that. Just another idea of a way that somebody might run this. I'm going sacrifice theme all day because I love making people sacrifice their creatures. It irritates their soul, and I don't know what to tell them. I don't know what to tell them. Yeah, no creatures, you can't attack me. And obviously it's red and black. You're gonna have spot removal out the ass.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just thought of another card for your discard when opponent's discard thing. What it was Waste Knot.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. Oh, if I can spell it correctly. Yeah. Good one. Waste Knot. 1 and a black enchantment. Whenever an opponent discards a creature card, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Whenever an opponent discards a land card, add 2 black to your mana pool. Whenever an opponent discards a non-creature, non-land card, draw a card. Yeah, this to me is almost an auto include.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Good point. Good one. Because you're still going to get the ETB, even when you have to sacrifice them the first time. You're still going to get that ETB. So they're all discarding cards. All your other opponents are discarding cards regardless.
Yep.
And yeah, say if you have this on the board, depending on what they discard, they're going to possibly lose 3 life from your commander, and obviously you're going to get one of these benefits, or 2 of these benefits. You might even get all 3 of these benefits in the same turn, because you're going to have 3 different opponents. At minimum, you're going to have, you know what I mean. We play one-on-one all the time. But you know what I mean. If you have a normal 4-player game, you may get one of these triggers each. It just depends on what people discard.
Yeah.
And yeah, nice. You might get all these abilities. You might get that zombie. You might get that 2 black in your mana pool and draw a card. What if that card you draw is Zombie Infestation and you got this 2 black in your mana pool?
Yeah, there you go.
Bam! So I know that's something I would do. But alright. I like this. I like it. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Because there aren't too many commanders you want in your graveyard, but obviously this is one you have to put in your graveyard.
Right.
To make it work.
Like, this card's like not something I would typically think to build around, but the more we've thought about it, the more, like you said, it's very interesting.
Very, yeah.
A new way to look at building a deck, I would think.
Right. Definitely. Like I said, I know I've heard of this, and I know there's another one that does the escape ability, but I want to say it's Simic. I don't know if they're the only 2. I'll look that up after we're done. But anyway, unless you have anything to add, that way we don't stretch this episode out too long, I'm down to move on to the rating and do at least one more before this episode's done, if you're down.
Sounds good.
Yeah, like you said, at first I was like, but yeah, the more I think about it, oh wait, because those colors, I would devastate somebody with this. I'm making sure nobody has anything on the board but me. Well, they might have some enchantments and some artifacts. They might have some enchantments. Red can deal with artifacts. Neither of those colors can really deal with enchantments, so you gotta kind of watch out for that.
Yeah.
But I would still give this about a 7, just like the first one. I could definitely, if I owned this card, I could definitely see me building a deck around it. But unfortunately, at the moment, I don't. Yeah, it's very interesting and above average, in my opinion.
I can dig that. I'm gonna put it a little closer to average at 6, just because I've never built around a card like this before. I don't know how it would work with the whole having to get it into your graveyard situation, but
Right.
I could see it going either way. So 6 is where I stand.
And the thing about it is that it might hurt because, of course, I would think that you might run some recursion in this deck.
Yeah.
So you might even just be able to put an animate dead on this thing. Or reanimate. Yeah, because think about, oh my god, the card reanimate. Let me pull that up real quick.
Well, it wouldn't keep it on the battlefield, though.
Oh, what am I missing? What am I missing? When it enters the battle, sack it unless it escapes. You are right. Let me chalk up that idea. Good point. Now you can, yeah. You can use them to keep making people discard cards, I guess.
Yeah, you could use that method.
Yeah. This is definitely an interesting one. A lot of different ways to look about this. But all right, ready to do at least one more?
Yeah.
Close these other pages and random. Oh shit! It's a goblin.
Slow bad.
Yeah. Slow bad. Doesn't sound like some caveman shit. Slow bad. Goblin Tinker. 1 and a red for a 1/2 Goblin Artificer. I already don't like that because I assume it has something to do with artifacts. Sacrifice an artifact, and that is at instant speed. Sacrifice an artifact, target artifact gains indestructible until end of turn. I feel like I should just let you take over this conversation because you have a red artifact deck.
I have a red artifact deck, yes, I have it already.
Yeah, that when it runs correctly, and I've seen it run correctly, is absolutely ridiculous. But you know what? I'll even pull that up real quick so that everybody can see what we're talking about. The Scrap Servant, right? Isn't that one? Yep. This asshole has a deck with this dude. Ready, Scrap Savant. 3 and a red for a Planeswalker that can also be your commander, obviously. Starts off with 3 loyalty, has a +2, discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many cards. And notice it says up to, so you can +2 it and discard 0.
Yep.
Because it says up to 2, so you can do 0, 1, or 2, you know. Has a -2, and this is the one that irritates me the most. Has a -2, sacrifice an artifact. If you do, return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield. I don't know if you guys really realize the almost endless possibilities that you can do with this. It's absolutely ridiculous. You can +2 him and say draw 1 card and say discard something like you know what? No, I mean, I'm going to go even crazy. Oh, no, I can't use that because that would get shuffled in. So,
what's the worm? Death Coil Engine or whatever?
I was going to go, what the hell is, you know what? That is a better one. Okay, yep, we'll go with that one. Yeah, and I know you have one of these in that deck, Dick. Look, we went on to talking about your Duretti deck.
I mean, all this stuff still kind of works with Slow Bad as well.
Yeah, true. Yeah, because you know what? With Slow Bad, you can sacrifice Wormcoil Engine.
Yeah.
And get those tokens. But Wormcoil Engine needs no introduction for, you know, anybody who's been playing for a while. But for anybody who doesn't know, it's a 6-drop artifact creature Worm. It's a 6/6 with Death Touch and Lifelink. First of all, that is a ridiculous combination. If you give this thing first strike, it will go fucking crazy. When Wormcoil Engine dies, create a 3/3 colorless worm artifact creature token with Death Touch and a 3/3 colorless worm artifact creature token with lifelink. Ridiculous. It's very annoying. And I've seen this dude say like some zero drop, like let's sacrifice our ornithopter to bring this thing back from the damn graveyard.
Yep. Sacrifice a sad robot to bring that back from the graveyard. Draw a card. Yeah.
And not to mention, in a desperate situation, which I have seen him do this, let's sacrifice the Worm Coil engine to get these 2 tokens. Then, sacrifice something stupid. You can even sacrifice one of these tokens to get the Worm Coil engine back.
Yep.
It goes insane. But anyway, we're not talking about Duretti. We're talking about Slowbad. But we brought those points up to say that it has a lot of potential as far as
the possibilities go.
Yeah, thank you. Because I almost bit my tongue on that one. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Because I don't know that I would particularly use him as a commander. I might put him in Duretti if I had one.
In the 99. Yeah, no, I could see that too. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, but on the alternate side, if I were to build this, Duretti would be in this deck.
Yeah, either way, I feel that, like, as soon as I saw this and I saw it was artifact themed, I thought of your Duretti deck.
Yeah.
And I can see these working together very nicely. Whether this be the commander or Duretti be the commander, the other card would be in the 99 of that deck.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that.
Mirror Battle Sphere in there.
Oh God, I'm so sick of you.
I'm just thinking of all the combinations I already used, man.
No, I can dig it. And Lord knows you can sacrifice one of these mirror tokens just for this kind of stuff. Mirror Battlesphere is a 7-drop artifact creature mirror construct. It's a 4/7. When the Battlesphere enters the battlefield, create 4 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature tokens. Whenever Mirror Battlesphere attacks, you may tap X mirrors you control, or not. It's completely up to you. If you do, it gets plus X plus 0 until end of turn and deals X damage to target player or planeswalker it's attacking. Yeah, you can bring this out and mess around and start. Yeah, you can sacrifice the tokens. And I don't even want to think about this because I've been on the other side of this deck before. And like any deck, don't get me wrong, like any deck, if it takes off, it gets pretty cattywampus, and it's very annoying. But it is what it is. Yeah, sacrifice one of the mirror tokens to make your Battlesphere indestructible. Yeah, why not? Let's do that.
Right.
Let's close these pages. Yeah, a lot of different possibilities because there sure are a lot of like 0-drop artifacts. There's the artifact lands, that are pretty much meant for stuff like this. 0-drop, yeah, artifacts like Ornithopter, even Spellbook, 0-drop artifact. You have no maximum hand size. Little random stuff like that. You can put all that little stuff in there to mess around and get some random bigger artifact creatures out there, or whatever the case may be, and you can make your artifacts indestructible. To me, as a commander, underwhelming.
Very.
So unless you have anything to add, I'm down with just rating this and moving on.
I'm down to rating.
As a commander, because remember we're rating these as a commander themselves. Oh no, I'm not digging it. Maybe a 3. There are some possibilities, but me personally, I'm not really feeling it. But I've always said that Magic is one of those one man's trash is another man's treasure kind of games, where we're like, this is kind of and I'm only giving it like a 3. There's somebody out there that'll mess around and have this deck and it's on like 8 or a 9. Because everybody plays differently, and there's nothing wrong with that. If there's anybody out there that has a deck like that, I'd like to play against it just to see how it runs, just to see how they would work a deck like this out. What about what do you have for it?
I'm going even lower. I'm going with a 2.
Oh my!
I have a red artifact deck, but my thought is that one of the most famous artifacts out there basically bricks your commander if it were in this deck. Darksteel Forge.
That's the card that I was thinking of that I couldn't think of the name of. So thank you, because I used to have one of these back when I used to run Tinkers. Now Tinkers are pretty much banned in everything.
Yeah, one of the most famous artifacts, and it makes your commander useless if you play it.
Yeah, that's true. Darksteel Forge is a 9-drop artifact, and trust me, nobody pays 9 for this. There are so many ways to cheat this into play; it's almost ridiculous.
I don't think maybe once I paid 9 for it.
I'm not gonna say I never have, but I've cheated it into play way more than But I just brought up Tinker.
Definitely. Yeah.
But 9-drop artifacts you control are indestructible, and that does include the Darksteel Forge itself.
Yep.
And for anyone who doesn't know, let me bring this up real quick. This card, Tinker. Look, it even said they put the banner on it. But anyway, Tinker, it costs 2 and a blue. It's a sorcery, and basically as an additional cost to cast Tinker, sacrifice an artifact. Search your library for an artifact card. Put that artifact onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. That way before this got banned. Don't get me wrong, Waverly and I, for the most part, don't care about the ban list. We play casual as hell. If you play us with a deck that has some kind of broken ass combo in it, okay, then we just got fucked up. Let's move on to the next game. Like, it's not that serious to us. But don't get me wrong, I understand why it's banned. I just don't care.
Yeah.
Unless, but that's one of those things. All stuff like that, you discuss it with your play group. If your play group is fine with it, then have at thee. But if you ask your play group, like, hey, so that's one of the things I've always agreed on, is that if you have a card that you know is banned in your deck, let everybody know that you have it before you start the game.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that there's not that one person like, no, I don't agree with that. Because then if they don't agree with it, then that's a whole nother discussion that y'all used to have. Or you need to take the card out and swap it with something that's not banned. But yeah, that's what I used to use Tinker for back in the day, back in 60 cards. But yeah, sacrifice like an artifact land. Or yeah, like I said, like a spell book. Even a what is it? Is it Library Lane? That's a 1-drop, no maximum hand size?
Yes.
Stuff like that, I would sacrifice those to go get Darksteel Forge. Yep. Sometimes on the second turn.
Yep, I have Library of Lang and Spellbook both in my Duretti deck just for that reason, just to stack it.
See, there you go. Yeah, sometimes on the second turn, I would use this, sacrifice, say, my Seat of the Synod, the blue artifact land, and go get Darksteel Forge, and people would just be like, what the fuck? And like I said, that's why I understand why Tinker is banned, but, it is what it is. But, alright, that's that. Matter of fact, let me back up a little. How many decks are there? You know what? How many decks are there with Duretti? 2435? That's not a horrible number.
No.
Slowpad, 192. That's a horrible number.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a commander, nobody's fucking with this thing. But
number 1,293.
Oh my god. But anyway, that is our latest episode of Random Clicks. I hope you guys liked it. Please do the whole like, share, subscribe thing if you choose to. I'm not one of these types of YouTubers that begs for attention. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It is what it is. Everybody's opinion is different. If you do like it, or you did watch it, or any of the case, any of the above, we greatly appreciate it no matter what. You know what I mean? So, as is tradition, on to the next time when we have time. So until then, peace.
Later.